You know, we've got a audience waiting with bated breath. Why have them stretch it any longer? Please and thank you for joining everybody. It is Saturday, 7 p.m. Wonderful to have you here. What's going on, Bob?
Yo, happy evening, everybody. Just about
Man,
1 week to go to
we're a week
Halloween.
out from Halloween already. Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there. Coming up on
you doing anything big for? I know you traditionally have had some invites to parties and whatnot. You doing anything super spooky?
wow, like that's a whole long and complicated subject. So unfortunately our friends that host that party every year are building a fence, like a legit wooden fence, and they're doing it themselves, digging the post holes, and they have a rather large backyard. So their driveway is just consumed by fencing products. So they canceled their party this year. And I said, well, why don't we just do something small at my house then? Just pare it down with another new friend from work, in our board game group and them. Well, without I don't want to get too much of their personal details, but one of them just spent most of yesterday and most of so far today in the hospital. So needless to say, we didn't have a party last night. Even though I already dropped $60 on stuff for a party that never happened. But
they're luckily Halloween comes around every year.
More concerned about their health. So, like I said, has not turned out spooktacular for my Halloween endeavors.
So that's actually where Matt is tonight. He got invited out to a party, the socialite he is. So glad to see he's out there living it up. It's tough for a young gentleman. So glad he's, taking those opportunities up.
Yeah, we're normally, this is like normally a big holiday for us. Got the house all decorated up. Though I don't want to give out candy because we live in one of those. You've been in my neighborhood. It's a nicer neighborhood.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening on Halloween,
people that don't live in that neighborhood go to that neighborhood.
Oh, not just some. It's a whole caravan of minivans.
Oh, yeah. Well, so
I
never did that for Halloween, but for Christmas, I would always go to neighborhoods similar to yours because you guys would go above and beyond for lights. So I get that aspect of it, but yeah, people nowadays, that's kind of
come around. Some of our neighbors give out, the full size candy bars and packs of Pokemon cards and
right, for sure.
First off, I'm not going to keep up with the Joneses in that respect. Secondly, the more that those people the Joneses have set the bar, kind of the more the kids expect going to each of the houses.
Right,
I'm all full of get out of here, You get some candy like I did when I was a kid. Now move on. But the first year it was maybe 100 kids.
Getting a bunch of nerds candy mixed with acetaminophen.
And then it was 400 kids. And now I'd say we're pushing up close to 500-ish kids coming around. I'm
that's just nuts.
There's not enough kids in this neighborhood. And then
that's when you turn off all the lights. Yeah.
Oh, we do. It's even though we're decorated for Halloween, it's not on Halloween.
Yeah.
They turn them lights off. Get out of here.
Luckily,
I'm not here to feed the whole local area with their kids.
Yeah, right.
That's not what I'm here for.
Sugar up all the elements.
Oh, I think last time we spent $125 on Halloween candy, and I'm like, nope, no, get out of here.
No way.
So sorry, didn't mean to go off on that, but yeah. So unfortunately, Halloween is turning into a bit of a not so favorite holiday for me around here anymore.
Nothing burger, yeah.
Unfortunately, but am looking forward to playing some board games. Got some more people that we're bringing into our board game circle now that I think we're truly past the pandemic. I mean, I know it flares up all the time, blah, blah, blah.
Did we just get a new COVID the other day? I heard
it hasn't ever stopped.
Yeah.
But who is throwing a party tonight, and I may visit tomorrow?
Who dat?
One of our guests from our show, and I don't know if you recall that. James from Recess Games, they do a big deal up there in North Olmsted. So, they give away games. There's prizes. There's tickets you get for playing in each of the different events and things. So it's a real kind of shindig, and I really wanted to check it out. Hopefully I can do some recording if I can get my lazy ass out there tomorrow. Ooh,
I can see
that
that
was yesterday and
Sneaks and
today.
Geeks doing
Damn
a
it.
big thing too, right?
I already missed it. It was today. It was yesterday
Oh.
and today. Damn. I really wanted to go. But I got reminded on my Facebook post of Recess Games and some of the winners with some of the things they're walking away with, and I enjoy that. I enjoy trying new board games. As you saw at Gen Con, I really kind of dig that environment where I can dig my hands into more games and different types of games. So I'm going to dox Lance just a little bit, also a former guest on our show. Really would like to have him come back for like a round 2. I don't know if you know how successful he's been lately, but I'd like to go through it. And he's had an iteration where it's no longer just him. He's doing it with Moonshot, Rip and Ship.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think that would make I think it would make an interesting interview. But every time I poke him, the dude is just so busy. It's hard to get any of his time. But he told me, even though he goes to Gen Con, he doesn't really like board games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't get the opportunity to indulge in board games near as much as I do for trading card game stuff. The time it takes, between setup and the length of some games, plus I'm able to jam a quick one-on-one Commander game on my lunch breaks. So that's a great opportunity. Speaking of great opportunities, hitting the like and subscribe buttons down below. If you want more content, you can also become a member, $1 a month. We do 4 after shows after every single one of these. You get an extra 2 hours minimum every month. And then on top of that, you also do get some stuff early. We've got some extra higher tier perks included. So go ahead, check that stuff out if you're interested. Speaking of interested, Bob, I got to say, I'm actually thinking about going to the movies tomorrow.
Wow. What are you going to go see?
Chainsaw Man. Yeah.
I have not even heard of that.
So it's based on an anime. A new thing that some animation companies are leaning towards, instead of doing an entire season or an arc, which can sometimes be 3 entire seasons, they're condensing it down into like one really high quality animation 2-hour movie. There was huge success with Demon Slayer. It had 4 really great seasons, hit it off, had a couple of movies, and they recently did another phenomenal exposition with one. Chainsaw Man had one really good season. People have just been excited for more, and they made an entire movie to replace season 2, more or less. And I was looking it up, and they're playing it in my downtown theater here, less than $10 for a ticket, which is just shocking. Good. So yeah, I might go to
movies. It's just not worth it. The last one we went to was Beetlejuice. And
yeah,
no offense, not really worth it. First off, I love Beetlejuice, but Beetlejuice did not recapture the magic. But speaking of which, it was an idea that I was bandying about this week, especially, being Matless, and I guess some weeks will be Patless. One of the things I want to know from the audience, and love you, Sherry Vegas, would you like to see us do like a reacts? And the first thing that came to my mind was something that I did this week with Miss Sherry Vegas, and that is going through, the YouTube upcoming, movies of 2026, or, upcoming movies. Would you guys like to see our take going through the
trailer
upcoming movies and do like a react to like skip? I don't know how we would manage that. I don't want to do it off the cuff tonight. We were considering it, but I kind of want to talk more and work through more of the technical specs on how we actually present that to you all. Maybe even do it as a member only perk. Become a member, $1 a month.
That might actually work out better because of the format.
And I was thinking that because of the wide format, because I think it's going to be kind of crap on the vertical format, to be honest.
It is. It is.
I know it's a lot bigger reach with the vertical format, which I hate, because I actually really like the horizontal format much better than this vertical format. It's hard to present things as a content creator, and I think something like that specifically, or if we were trying to do those, how everybody ranks like cards, S tier and A tier, E tier
maker stuff.
In this format, it's so tiny, and people looking at it on their phone, they're not going to see the little tiny, teeny little pictures that we cut out and put in there and that kind of stuff. So again, I want to know from the audience how you feel about us reacting. Do you care if we react to something or watch a movie and we react to it and kind of skip through it? We'll have to work out the technical pieces behind the scenes here. But that's something I was thinking about adding to the show so that we're not always, no offense, just bashing on WotC for their missteps. I would like to praise them for some things. And speaking of which, they just released the Hasbro third quarter earnings. Kind of a mixed bag. I'm not going to go into a deep dive on it. I do have the report up to try to kind of share some of what I think the highlights are of that. And let me share that here with you all. See if I can do this, because I'm an old man and I'm really good at this YouTube thing. Oh boy, maybe I ought to put that in that skinny version. How do I put that in the skinny version? It's not letting me.
That looks better.
Okay. So what I really want to get to is the actual numbers. Good. Better. Hey, year over year. Well, they're down about 70 million. These are in millions, by the way.
That's a pretty decent percentage,
generally considered a good thing. Accounts receivables down. Inventory being up is also not a great thing.
That's something they specifically said they didn't want to keep happening.
Right. And instead, what they've done, and I have a feeling that there's a good deal of that is some Spider-Man product, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that's close to 10% upshift.
Also, the next line there, the total current assets of being down 600 million in total assets. That's
how is it that they? What's your take on this? With their inventory being higher, why are their current assets technically lower if they're holding more physical product, which is like what this company's based on, right?
Well, and it's these assets, right? It's 70 million less cash equivalents. It's 500 million less short-term investments. That means that, like, what? Let me translate that. This means stagnation. Like they have no short-term investments.
The market's
so probably not
poorly. Yeah.
And I think we've heard that they were canceling one of their tabletop simulator things.
They're
virtual tabletop
D&D Beyond, their electronic version of it, got wind that after years of development they're just shutting everything down and ceasing any further expedition into it, which is kind of a shame, honestly. But we might dig a bit deeper into that.
So I just want to kind of point out it's summing all of this up, and in sum total of accounts receivable, which means it's not cash necessarily or cash equivalent.
I see.
Short-term investments also not there. Inventories are a bit higher, which I don't think that's a good thing, actually. And the prepaid expenses are about, you can't really see it, they're about the same, about 6 million, a little less than 6 million different, which is really nothing. But when you sum it all up, this is stuff that they have. This is basically their cash and stuff, right? Then you have their plant stuff, but I think they also went through a bit of cutting more stuff out of their holdings. This is the big one. So this is, and what you'll notice here, and the takeaway, the total assets, meaning you can think of it like as you would think of your total net worth, is $1.7 billion down. That's almost $2 billion. That's getting pretty close to 25% of their company down in total assets over the last year. That's generally not good, but I will say this in a let's look at it in a more positive light, and that is I've discussed goodwill before. Do you remember what goodwill is?
No.
Basically, they say the company's worth X amount more because they say so. Because the name D&D is worth something. The name Magic the Gathering is worth something. The name Peppa Pig and Monopoly Go are worth something.
That definitely is a bad suggestion then, seeing that that's like halved.
No, that's actually good.
Really?
Yes. And the reason I'm going to say that is it's very dangerous to say a company was worth, and they've been working on cutting this down a lot. Especially when that E1, they were almost up at like 3 billion at one point, which was at that time
number was previously inflated.
And I think that they were at 9 billion total when they owned the E1 network or whatever that was, the Entertainment One thing. And they sold that off, and that like took a chunk out of their goodwill. But when they had it, they were counting $3 billion of goodwill, which is it's fugazi. It really is. It's not anything tangible. It's not a real thing. It's because I said so, and I wouldn't sell it for less than that. And they're allowed to report that as that's what our company's worth. So it actually is good that if you're going to be down this $1.7 billion, that the largest chunk of that is shedding $1 billion worth of goodwill. And that means that the actual net worth is, going in a better direction. But like they're talking about other intangible assets and whatnot is down another 60 million. So all these things being generally down, except for the other assets, whatever the hell that means, is almost up 100 million. But in sum total, the company is now worth $1.7 billion less than it was this year or last year this time.
And this is across the board, not just Wizards, but this is Hasbro at large, right?
This is Hasbro, right? Okay. And some of the stuff just didn't make sense when I saw their other one where they said, oh, WotC's up 42%. I'm like, what? No, it's not. Get out of here. Because when you go through all the numbers, it just doesn't prove out that way. Anyway, so, I went through the whole thing. And those were the highlights. I hate these non-GAAP measures that basically is creative math. It just cooking the books.
Yo, what up, Dual Brain? How you doing,
they said, we can nuke this. So they said, let me try to sum it up the best I can and just kind of wrap it up in a 15 to 30 second little blurb here. So it's always questionable when they say their actual quarterly earnings are down 7%, but adjusted, they're up 3%. And it's like adjusted by non-GAAP fugazi.
If you adjust it by 10%, we're up. I mean, that's
like because we said so.
Yeah.
And that's in short. Like we can go through, like if you want to argue with me over the numbers, we can go through the nuts and bolts of every section and what they're reporting and what is real and what is non-GAAP. But do you remember what GAAP and non-GAAP is, to go through those terms again?
No,
GAAP is generally accepted accounting principles, meaning this is the way other companies do math. Non-GAAP means, hey, you're creating your own math, WotC and Hasbro.
If we cook our own books, it makes a lot better sense.
Yeah, and it's always way better when you look at the non-GAAP measures, right? So, okay. So what's the health of Hasbro? I'm not going to say it's never great that they were in a position where they had to shed so much goodwill, right? Like our company was worth this fairy dust because of names and shit that you can't really sell.
I think Spider-Man and Avatar are definitely a great showing of that adjustment. I don't know if it was actually on this financial report where those numbers would be recorded, the pre-order portions of those sales, but I think that me personally, with the announcement, that was pretty much like the straw that broke the Pat's back, was the announcement of the end of 25 upcoming 2026 release schedule. It was just like, this is too much, and I knew at that point that I was not going to be spending much money on Magic coming up. And I think that might be an also market reflection of other people. I mean, there is just too much. You have to be picking and choosing how you interact with Magic the Gathering as far as like expenditures. And I wonder if too many choices is in fact one of the things that is going to be a downside. Too many options is bad.
Well, and not only that, they've gone from the year they released Lord of the Rings, it was basically mainly their only significant IP investment, right? To now they're just loading up the cart. And you saw what Matt said, that, well, if there's any IP that you can think of out there, we've already inked the deal, from Chris Cox. So that kind of speaks to, I don't think that it's just the next 5 years that we're looking at. I think that's going to be a direction that they ride until that well runs dry.
Well, I mean, even at that, what are we looking at next year? 7 sets, 4 of them are Universes Beyond. If we
not including any secret layers, let's throw that on top of that.
Just baseline napkin math. Let's say it fluctuates. We'll start off with 4, a 3, a 4, a 3, a 4 as far as Universes Beyond sets, because they want to stay about 50-50, right? So let's say it fluctuates 7, 10. That's still 17 full Universes Beyond tentpole-esque sets, not including any like secret layer stuff like we were mentioning, which is certainly going to be a huge thing continuing going forward. Like it, to or say that Magic the Gathering is diluted as far as its essence, boy,
beyond that, I mean, they haven't even said they're not going to do another Doctor Who or a Warhammer 40K or Fallout, which are, I don't even know how you consider those as far as sets go, but they're something. You know, they're
why not revisit those? I mean, with how expensive a Fallout collector box is, how much people enjoyed that. There were just a couple of decks, and those sold gangbusters. The 40K decks, they sold and sold and sold and sold. They just couldn't keep reprinting them enough for the cards. There was an arbitrage point for a number of times where you could just get the deck, open it up, sell the singles. And people just loved the theme of it. Like you were saying, there's no reason that they couldn't go back and revisit other sets and universes that we have seen already
that don't go to standard. I mean, what you're talking about is purely just going to standard. I think a bigger deal, and you know, I don't want to stay on this WotC bandwagon too much tonight, but something I think is a very big deal, and there's so little chatter about it out there, and that is that they're raising the baseline prices as of Lorwyn. They're going up. This is what I keep saying. We're the pot, we're frogs in a pot of boiling water here, where we're so used to the IP premium for Universes Beyond. Well, thank you. But you know, they're kind of shifting in the background. Oh, okay. Well, now we're going to raise the in-universe prices too, because it won't seem as bad as the Universes Beyond stuff. And that's what's happening, is you're going to see this narrowing between this ultra high bar of, remember, the MSRP for Universe Beyond play boosters for standard is what? What's their MSRP roughly?
$140?
No. 210.
Jesus Christ. And Matt wonders why I've said this is just too expensive. It's not that I can't afford it. It's that I will not afford it in my budget.
And the MSRP they're setting for the collector boxes, the baseline that they're attempting to set,
it's like 450, 500,
like
now,
439, 440 something. Yeah, it's around somewhere around 450, right? Like, think about that. Just 2 years ago, what would you say? Oh, the MSRP for a collector box is what? Just 2 years ago at release,
250,
200 to 250.
Yeah,
right? A regular standard set. What was a MSRP?
Yeah, 150, 200. Like that was on the higher end of it. You know, that's
because they didn't have MSRP, but that was the release price, right?
Yeah.
And then like the specialty sets, the MH2s and whatnot, those were 250, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
In the last year, they have doubled, my friend. And we went from having draft boxes 2 years ago to now we only have play boxes, and they're at 210. We went from like 100 to 200 in just 2 years. Like,
it is legitimately cheaper just to buy, like to go on and get packs made from Make playing cards and just have them foil out everything and just make booster packs. I legitimately think for the price of $400 to $500 that it would be cheaper to have them just build you custom made booster packs.
But you're not seeing like the prize support going up by an equivalent amount for like the Pro Tour.
Prize support? Okay. I was just... You got me hot off the press on that one. Prize support. Who the fuck can afford to go down and do these events anymore? Like that.
And the prize support doesn't justify the cost now to go in and do
that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, cool. You gave me a foil goblin guide. Suck a dick. Like, no, that is the math is not working out anymore as far as this. Which again, we're going to circle back to some of the things that we are enjoying, which is where this transition point for me is. When I look at, okay, if I want to have, let's say, a great time with a couple of buddies, it's going to be 4 hours and we're going to do a draft, right? I got 2-3 buddies. We're going to have a great time ripping rappers, doing some stuff. That's a really expensive 2 hours, right? Now, like I said, I'm going to go to the movies tomorrow. It's going to cost me $10 to buy a movie ticket. It's not even like the matinee showing. It's just like the downtown theater where I live at. Like, is what it is. Okay, cool. I'm going to bring my own snacks. Maybe it's $20 for 2 hours of fun. And I don't have to worry about, like, what am I going to do with these cards? I don't have the investment in it in a capitalist sense. It is just, I went, I watched some anime, I had some popcorn and some soda. Great time. And that ever more so is becoming a fluctuation in how I invest my time when it comes to spending money to have entertainment. Buying a video game, shout out to Time Capsule, waiting for good sales. And it's like, oh, hey, I can spend $25 on this game and I'm going to have 200 hours of entertainment with it.
You know, I was just discussing some of that with Miss Sherry Vegas. This might shock you. There's a new MMO, not a new MMO, but new to her MMO. I don't know, Miss Sherry Vegas, if you want to type in that we were just discussing, we were talking about, and, we're not the poor folk. But even, we were talking about, it was free to play. And does she really want to get the expansions? And when we're really talking about it, it's like $50. But let's put that in context just so I can sort of relate that to Magic. That's 1/4 of a play booster box anymore, right?
That's what one commander deck.
She's going to get 100+ hours of enjoyment.
Oh, yeah,
out of the new video MMO. Like, she's already probably got 20 to 30 hours in it already on the free to play. Another $50 and she's going to get at least another 100+ hours on it, maybe a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like these non-equivalent things anymore. And I'm not trying to, there it is.
Guild Wars 2.
So, they give the free to play and then like, oh, hey, if you want to mount, you got to buy an expansion.
Right.
But it's trivial when you look at like a box of Magic. What can you even buy anymore? Not even a commander deck. I don't know. It was just very Halloween-y. I put in Magic the Gathering Halloween, and this was an image that popped up. I don't know if it's a card somewhere that I'm unaware of. But I dig it. I liked it. It's very Halloween. I love jack-o'-lanterns. But this is where we get into that whole talk. And I know I piss some people off when I talk negative about, well, I may join her, time capsule. And as always, to our devoted members, I'm totally willing to play that with you if you want to try out at least a free to play and see where it goes from there, and then maybe with Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, for those that are listening that are considering the $1 a month contribution, we do play video games with people like Time Capsule. It's been a minute since I played with them, but Matt, Pat, and I play, and I'm the more good time, non-serious player. Pat is a little more serious than I am, and Matt is he's the same player that he is in Magic. Gotta optimize. Gotta win right now, all the time. Forget about fun. We gotta win. But you have a plethora of game styles to choose from the content creators for video games. We're more than happy to jump on most of them if we're playing them along with you guys. I don't think Benson does that. dual brain. I don't think he's into that aspect. But so there's one benefit, not trying to, shill too much, but, just let you know, hey, we legit do play video games with our members. So at any rate, that's a new one that's making my radar, mainly because of Miss Sherry Vegas. And I just, you know what? I'm not going to drive myself in the poorhouse buying boxes that are increasing at an insane rate.
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't know where Magic's going for me. I don't have a budget next year for Magic. I don't want to say it's zero, but it's getting harder and harder for me to pull the trigger on buying Magic stuff.
Yeah, I do not have a current expected amount that I plan on spending on Magic for next year above $0. Like, not with Wizards of the Coast, at least. I mean, realistically, like,
I lied.
There might be a couple of secret layers here and there where it's just like, ooh, this is really interesting. But I can't deal with sitting in line for 5 fucking hours. And I got to do it for my cell phone because it's always on like a Monday because they hate us as buyers. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm actively at work. Like this just doesn't shake out most of the time. And then at that point, I feel kind of terrible anyways because I'm spending $5 to $10 for each Magic card. It's like, for what purpose? Whereas I can just get stuff from NPC Phil. I can just buy proxy decks. Yep. Like the people that, hey, yeah, love man, time capsule, 15 months. It just doesn't, it doesn't make sense for me at this point to keep going about interacting with Magic the same way. And I cannot, specifically because they don't offer those products at the same price point that they used to. So even if I felt cool with saying, yeah, sure, $150 for 30 packs of Magic cards, sure, this is fine. I'm not an idiot. I can't do that anymore because they don't sell those boxes at that price.
Well, I did lie. I do have a budget for next year, and I even announced it on the show here, and I intend to
the Hobbit stuff, right?
No, not the Hobbit.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I'm not going to buy the Hobbit at these prices. It's my most anticipated set, but no, it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles PvE box.
Oh, yeah. No, I get you.
But I think that's $40, something like that, 40 or $50. I'll give it a crack, right? It's a unique product. I want to support their PvE efforts. But if they start getting ridiculously out of control, $50 is a pretty expensive board game. Yeah. And especially if it's going to be like a kind of one-time playthrough, that's a very expensive experience. So we'll see. But again, I don't have a budget because they've just, quite frankly, I think I've said it before, Magic has priced me out, and if they're pricing you and I out, there must be some really wealthy people out there playing Magic the Gathering is all I'm going to say.
Or some people with like some really bad gambling issues, like that legitimately, I mean, everything's a blind box nowadays between Labubu's, Pokemon, and MTG. Like, all trading card games are a type of gambling. It's the same blind box aspect that is driving people wild. I mean, that's why Monopoly at McDonald's is such a fever thing nowadays again, because there's a chance I could win big. It's shitty part of America right now.
Yeah, but what's not shitty is just looking at how we can spend that money in other ways, and you got to start judging it now by time, right? Like, I think we've gotten to the point in Magic where you have to assess the amount of money that you're spending. How much value are you getting in time for entertainment from that? And you really have to ask yourself, because people, I don't know why they delude themselves that, this car's worth $100. It's not. Like, let's just be very real. Pat, you sell cards all the time.
Yep.
What do you shave off of the, even if you sell it at MSRP or what the going rate is on
TCG, right, whatever TCG
what do you just generally in your head calculate as loss
Oh, at least 20% off of whatever your sale price is, bare minimum.
And I think you got
13% for sales fees. And then if it's a low price item, if it's like a $2 card, you still have to put a stamp on it. Even if you're putting it in just like a penny sleeve, if you're just being a dick and just pretty much sticking it in a plain white envelope, you're still losing like a bare minimum on that. So and then if you're in that weird area of like between $5 and $20, you want to put it in a bubble mailer with like a hard loader. So like right there. You know what?
Yeah. That's a great, like, we should go into the detailed analysis, but I think you're a bit low on the percentage of loss. And I think Dual Brain, he put it out there, and he does a lot of selling. He's got it at 40%. And Matt and I went through this with the AI, and you know, it's kind of intriguing that it's not a straight number that you can predict. So I just kind of pick the average in there, and I say 30%. It's worth 30% less by the time you actually sell it, ship it, and you know, your cost to buy the damn thing wasn't free. And so if you bought a box that had 30 rares in it, and only one of them is sellable, well, now you have to say that your cost of that one rare was $150 for the box. You understand what I'm saying? You can't do it by people love to say, oh, well, it was a single pack. Well, what about all the packs you open that you can't sell the cards from, right? Those you have to average into the cost of the loss. Well, okay. And that's fine, Dual Brain. I got you. What I'm saying is there's no like magic number, but you seem to be on the more conservative side. By saying 40%, I think Pat's on a little bit of the optimistic side, saying 20%, and probably somewhere between those two is where the vast majority of sales take place. But a lot of people, they just don't even consider all the packs that they purchased, their opportunity cost to get that item, right? And when you add all of that in, and they say, oh, well, but then I have the game pieces.
Well, so like that's the great thing about this whole Monopoly at McDonald's thing, Bob, is I was going to get those chicken McNuggets anyways.
No, I feel you. But yeah, no, I agree, Dual Brain. That's like, there's so many different pieces of what you're saying here, Dual Brain, that are like individual topics we could go through for an entire, hour individually. And my point was,
I'm looking at this. Lots of card nowadays out of packs are light played. Oh, dude, it's even worse for Pokemon. There are some cards that because of the foiling process they do, you just can't get 10s. Like there's a lot of cards. Shit, nowadays in Magic the Gathering, they just don't care about quality. I don't even think there is like a misprint community anymore, because most cards just come out janky anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was going to tell somebody,
was a 9 out of 10.
If I was going to tell somebody honestly, and somebody I cared about, a friend that might want to get into Magic, I would tell them for sure, start by proxying. Find the cards that you want. Find the decks that you want to play. Maybe play some of it on Arena if you can. And if you want paper copies, unless you really plan on going into the Pro Tour, which I don't see I just don't see tournament play being a real viable thing anymore. Like standard, what really? And how many people are playing? Anyways, my point is, for somebody that's new coming in, 100% I'd tell them to proxy the shit out of everything. Like you're going to enjoy that a whole lot more for your cost to time ratio than getting legit Magic cards. That is a collectible at that point. And really, they've gotten out of the realm of collectible, because the collectible, you just be losing so much money. And it's really turned more into a lottery than a collectible.
That's like two things. One, Benson, love it. Pro Magic is all cheaters and weirdos. The only thing I'm looking forward to about the Pro Magic Tour coming back around is Nikachu's coverage of all the cheaters and weirdos. Okay.
Love Nikachu. Also was a guest on our show, by the way.
Yeah.
Great guy. Really great guy.
Shout out to him as an example of people that have the ability to compete at those incredibly high levels.
Oh, yeah.
If you're already doing it in something like chess, if you're, a 1400 chess player, if you're a Go, Q10 or some shit, right? If you're a grandmaster in other games, there is a translation of that ability to see how combos and strategies come together. I think that if you already have that in Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe you could translate that over into Magic the Gathering. But I don't think that just some random 14-year-old that rips open a pack down at his local gaming store, right? You know, he gets a gift from grandma and he's, oh my goodness, I understand how it all works. And he's the new prodigy. I don't think that that's it. I don't know. I want to.
What I'm saying is that's not like people delude themselves saying that that's why they spend these ridiculous amounts on Magic, but really it is they're the sunk cost, right? They crack the packs in this bizarre, never-ending stream of justification of why they should do that rather than just proxying. And I think that more people still play Commander than any other format, and there's no tournament Commander. And they're talking about I think Joel was talking about how they're getting closer and closer to 1v1 Commander. To me, that's not really Commander. That's just a different format head-to-head. Like, it's not really Commander. Commander, you generally have politics involved.
Yeah.
1v1 is not politicking.
No, and don't get me wrong, I definitely do heads up Commander games, but it's not the same thing. It very much so. Like, the instant you start playing a 1v1 Commander game, it's not the same entity.
Well, and you design your deck differently at any rate, just like you would design your deck differently for playing Commander raids. However, it is generally considered a group format. It's the one that most people play is the group format, not the 1v1, not the CEDH, not Commander raids. It's very much the traditional 4-player Commander multiplayer environment that will likely never be sanctioned by WotC. There's just too many problems with that type of format.
That's why they're going to try and do this thing with the boss monster. They're gonna take the foundation we've laid down and run with it, because
they're basically rehashing To Kill a God or Slay the Hydra or whatever it was called. And I've never played either one of those. I'd be very interested in trying them. But again, you're deluding yourself if you think you need to have the legit cards. That means that you're either A, a collector, or B, an investor, flipper. And I'm going to tell you, most people that crack product lose. Just the vast majority.
Oh, yeah. As far as the monetary investment versus payoff. Yeah.
I mean,
fucking die. Yeah, I think on the best box I've had in like all of our box breaks for Commander decks, I think the best box I had was that Edge of Eternity's one, and I'm pretty sure I still lost money on it.
All I'm saying is just like people tend to only talk about their highlights and they don't average in all the losses.
Yeah.
I think that is symptomatic of somebody with a gambling problem. That's not looking at the actual numbers. They're not the professional gamblers. You know what I mean? Professional gamblers are very much aware of their loss ratios.
Right.
I'll say that from living in Vegas. They know exactly where they're at with money spent versus money won. And unfortunately, Magic players that are in the wider community are definitely not. They only remember the hit that they got that foiled Mox Jasper. And it's unfortunate. We've spent way too long on WotC tonight. You wanted to talk about other things, and I don't want to continually bash on WotC. At this point, I'm sounding like a broken record. The people that need to hear my message will not, or they'll dispute it. They won't. They'll dispute it without actually, bringing the discussion, or they'll just straight tune out, turn it off. The people that listen to what I'm saying don't need to hear it. Usually they already know and already have a healthy relationship. I'm just singing to the choir.
Hallelujah.
What's that?
I said, hallelujah.
Yeah. And I just hope that everybody finds a healthy relationship with it. It can be a wonderful part of your life to make it better and enhance it and have some enjoyment. But unfortunately, they're even pricing people like me out that have tried to keep a healthy relationship with it and said, nope, you've crossed that line. And if you're searching for like people that make or have more money than I do, good luck, because that's a very small part of the United States. So I don't know who your audience supposedly is. That's certainly not.
Says, have you guys looked at pre-modern Magic the Gathering, 4th edition to Scourge?
I have not, and I don't really. I mean, no. And I'll be honest with you, that's not really what interests me. I want to like Magic for what it's supposed to be, which is an ever-evolving thing. But unfortunately, it went from something that's been very affordable traditionally for me. Well, I wouldn't even say that. At times, it's been very expensive, and at times, it's been very affordable. But even at the pinnacle of my earnings potential, nope, it's getting yucky. Now I could proxy cards, but again, I don't want it to be limited to that. I like new cards that have new interactions. So I'm much more likely to proxy and continue to play Commander raids than I am to hibernate away in older formats. I've already played in that era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to return to that. But
so I bought a game while we were doing the podcast.
What's that?
I bought a game while we were doing the podcast.
Oh, did you? What'd you buy? What you got?
I've been looking at it for a while. It just got its 1.0 release last week. It's a game called Necesse.
What?
Necesse. Necesse. It's very similar to
like
Terraria.
Half of Necessity.
Yeah, right. It's similar to Terraria, except it's instead of like a vertical slice, it's kind of a God's view, like eagle eye view, kind of just different isometric orientation. Builder, crafter. A big twist on this is that you build like a town as part of the like loot cycle. You know, you go out, you explore, you get new items and stuff, and you find new people. You invite them back, and you are actually building up an entire village into a small city. And you can assign different chores and stuff for each person to go out and do. And as you progress along, very similar to Terraria, there are certain specific bosses that you are able to summon, or they, under certain conditions, will spawn by themselves. All of your villagers, you can give them gear, weapons. They can level up in different certain ways, and they can engage in battle with you on your side, fighting against these guys. You can do it 4-player, apparently, and you can also take a bunch of the villagers in your town out when you go exploring, so you can have like a whole little army with you. Seems really interesting, and there was a sale. It's currently, I think, 50% off. But on top of that, because Steam, being the wonderful platform that it is, often does bundle sales. So because I already owned Palworld, this was $6. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, could I get a Bloomborough pack for $6, Bob? Like, legitimately, like, how much fun would
funny you say that, because today I went to where my daughter works. It's like a Walmart-esque kind of place, like Target-esque is more like it. And they do have Magic and Pokemon a little bit. And the only stuff they had there for Magic was Spider-Man, you know, the blister boosters.
Oh, yeah.
How much do you think they were?
Honestly, I'm going. What I want to say is like the number I want it to be, but not the number I think it. Okay, $8.99 for a single blister booster play pack.
You're actually 100% on target. $8.99, $9 for a single Spider-Man pack.
Yeah.
I was like, I was right there. And if it had been reasonable, and I mean reasonable, like I think even if it was $6.99.
21 more billion, like
right? Even if it was $6.99, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous for a baseline pack at $7, I probably would have bought maybe 1 or 2 to open on tonight's show.
Oh,
if it was $5.99, now think about that, $5.99, and I would have thought such a deal, and I would have, that's $6 a pack. But when you think about it, packs just like 2 years ago, $3.99, right? Like.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't even think they sell Magic at my Walmart anymore. just because of how many people stole shit. They moved it so they have a bunch of like those self-checkout areas, and they got like 1 or 2 people with learning disabilities and schmucks that watch them check themselves out. And then right outside of it, they have all the baseball cards and Yu-Gi-Oh. They don't sell anything else now. It's just baseball cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, and villainous expansions because there's so fucking many of them.
We own Villainous. We bought it at Gen Con, and we still never played it.
I have heard good things about it, but
so have
I don't have like in real life friends for the most part. Like I have very few people that I invite over to my house.
I'm a real life friend. You've actually spent the night at my house. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of like physically close friends. I don't invite people over to my house, you know. Okay. Like it's not. Well,
you're really invited whenever you want to come, Pat. I mean, if you want to come celebrate Christmas with us, go for it. We'll be glad to have you.
I don't do Christmas.
Okay.
I am actually going down to see my family for Thanksgiving. That's going to be like a whole thing. Going to make a trip.
You do time off. We do food, so you don't have to participate in the Christmas thing. But at any rate, no, we're real life friends. I'm hurt.
I just mean like you're not a physical friend. You're not somebody that like comes over, hangs out. We don't get to dab.
Well, that's because you're not here. Well, Matt lives close enough. We could actually physically collaborate if you moved.
Right. Hey man, once my old man dies and I get that huge inheritance, oh Bob, the whole world's my oyster. I'm kidding.
Jerry just tossed you an invite.
Aw, shucks. That would be fun though.
And no, that's not for the entire audience, just in case you're questioning. No, not everybody in the audience can come.
BobCon 2025. You heard it here.
No. But we got plenty of product that I purchased over the years that I don't really need to buy any more booster boxes. We could be cracking like fools. And to be honest with you, I'd probably want to play more games like that Legendary Alien. I don't think you tried Legendary Matrix when you were here.
No, that one definitely, like, that's way more up my alley. I like the lore and stuff behind Alien, but the movies never like got me.
Did we win or lose? Like, I know you died.
I died a bunch of times. I think we ended up playing 3 times and we won 2 out of 3 times, and I died like 2 out of 3 times. Okay. Never like with winning games. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but we have the Harry Potter game, which I think is excellent. You haven't tried that. You did, I think, the Star Wars one, right?
Yeah. It was a little finicky to set up. Like there were a lot of little like tokens and knickknacks and stuff. But once we got it down,
there are games that are way worse. Like if you go to Matt's house and play some of his stuff, like the Gloomhaven and the that was, Icewind Dale or whatever it was, the Winter Haven. Dude, those are like an hour and a half setup. And I'll be honest with you, like you didn't play Zombicide either. When you were here, man, that is a lot more fiddly. Or Imperial Assault, which I absolutely love. And you have like multiple scenarios, and there's an AI that can run the dark side for you. You have to have your laptop there, and it runs. It does the enemy's turn for you. But yeah, I love the co-op stuff. Matt said that I don't know if did you follow the conversation in our personal chat? Unfortunately, the Hero Realms co-op was AIDS, is the way he put it.
Oh no.
You remember that Hero Realms game we played at Gen Con?
Yeah.
Great little game. And I have yet to try the co-op version of that, but he said that it was brutal. Like it was, pitch your whole hand, kill everything on your board, to where you're sitting there just top decking, nothing.
Yeah.
Turn after turn while it's beating the crap out of you. So it's like I call that a Dark Souls like game where they just, shove you into the corner and poke you with a stick. And there's a game called Attack on Titan that was a deck builder. It's a co-op deck builder that it's just impossible to beat. It was so bad, and I've tried it like 10 times. At one of our board game parties, I just gave it away as a door prize. I'm like, I don't want this game anymore. If whoever, we'll roll dice, and whoever wins, congratulations, you're now the proud owner of a Attack on Titan board game for free. Because I watched the Attack on Titan series, and I got into it, and then I was like, they have a board game? They have a deck builder? Hell yeah. And then I played it, and I'm like, this is garbage. This is brutal.
Yeah,
we're just going to beat you over and over.
That series yet? He was watching the rest of Attack on Titan. He was getting towards the end last time we talked.
I don't know if I finished it up. They went to the part where they like went overseas or something with like the military and
yeah, you still had at least one really disappointing season and some movies left.
It was already pretty disappointing then because the main character guy by that point was already like
wicked depressed.
Mr. Depresso.
Yep. Yeah. He looked like Chris Angel, but with no stage presence.
It was like, okay. To where
and I think he was missing an arm for most of that.
Yeah, I think he was missing an arm.
And it's just like, oh, the fuck. And they never explained that either. Like, whatever. There's a bunch of way better anime. I gotta rewatch Bleach on like 2.5 times speed. That's a fine show as long as you skip 50% of it.
I'm not gonna lie, my favorite anime has to still be Castlevania.
It's really good.
Do you consider Arcane? I don't know if that's necessarily an anime. It's animated.
I don't know if I would call it. It would be American anime, probably. Like it's an animated show, which is what anime. The term anime is Japanese animation, and realistically, no. I guess by that definition, it's probably not traditional anime, but it's also really good. Like
it's the first year is. The second season, we didn't even finish watching it.
Oh.
It got weird. And we're like, okay. Like all like kaleidoscope and Mandela effect kind of stuff, like half of the episodes. And I'm like, what are they even storytelling wise, what are they trying to tell me? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's bad when it's not interpretive enough, or like, what did I miss? Like, what is all this kaleidoscope on the screen supposed to represent? And it just went in a very metaphysical kaleidoscope, more ethereal kind of direction. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not digging it so much anymore. And it kind of had a bit of woke elements to it. And I'm like, okay. I think I'm kind of done with this show. But the first season was excellent. I would say Castlevania by far was far more consistently captivating. Have you watched Castlevania?
Yeah, at least the first full season.
I think there was 3 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. And they were able to keep my attention.
Yeah.
For all of them.
I just don't have Netflix anymore.
Okay. I'm just saying they were at least able to hold my attention all 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't recall saying, that one kind of fell off a cliff, which happens so often anymore with shows.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of anime I'll watch where you don't even get through a full season, and a lot of the show direction seems to change a lot. I was watching one called Accel World, like Accelerate World, and you'd go into this VR world or whatever, and time would move differently, and that was a big aspect of it. And by like season 1, episode 6, it stopped being an action sci-fi show and turned into more of a drama thing, because someone learned that he could move his powers from one world to another, and they were blackmailing him, which is a very common Japanese trope, and I just can't stand it in my anime.
And if you guys want to hear more of our hot takes on shows and good shows and ones that went off the cliff and how and why, well, you're just going to have to start buying your membership and tune in, because it is that time already. Yeah, it's gone that quickly. And we are on to the member-only portion of the show at this point in time. I think we're going to continue this conversation, and I have a couple of thoughts queued up. One of them to talk about will be Alien Earth, that we're probably going to continue the discussion tonight on. So if you want to hear our take on that, and I'll probably talk a little bit about The Expanse and some other shows, and maybe even some video games. you're going to have to cough up that $1 a month. I know that's really tough to come by. But yeah, you're going to have to do it and be a member. And for the members,
the low price of one Arizona iced tea.
Are they still 99 cents?
I think so.
But you're going to have to find out later and be a member to figure that out tonight, what our take is on these things. So thank you, everybody, for your time tonight. Appreciate it, as always. We're here every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, that is. And we enjoy having you all here and interacting with you. So thank you again. Pat, you got anything to sign off with?
Besides it's been great. We should do this again in like a week.
Actually, we're going to do it again in about 1 minute on the member only show.
I think I switched it. This should be members only at this point.
I have no idea.
Pretty sure.
You have the dashboard.
Pretty sure.
I have no idea. Mr. Patrick, you have
members only. I did it. I did it.
I did it. I made this. I don't remember what that was part of. It was the end of a show. I made this.
It's interesting you brought up The Expanse. I was actually just suggesting that to a coworker. They were looking to get into a sci-fi show. And I was like, if you want some just like really hard science fiction stuff, some really incredible attention to detail, season 1 of The Expanse, I don't think there's any
season 1 is better. So slow, man. See, The Expanse doesn't really get good to me until The Ring. And then that's when it starts going.
I enjoyed season 1 as just like Star Trek type stuff.
You mean setting up the universe? Because season 1 is just a setup season. It doesn't really do much plot wise, and even like that Blue Goo stuff. They don't
exactly. It's just like you're learning about the current situation on Earth, how the sea levels have risen so much, how the United Nations truly does hold an incredible amount of power in their world, how they've built these giant walls around cities, like dozens of meters high, because the world's ocean levels are so bad. How people don't have jobs anymore because people are so technologically advanced between robots and artificial intelligence. How people earn money is so different. How most people do live on universal basic income, and it's been an incredible detriment to their society. How we have like colonized out to space. Like, I think there are so many really interesting sci-fi elements to it. That's why I liked season 1 so much, was the world building.
Well, and I was, it's funny that you even mentioned that, because they were talking, I'm a Gen Xer. Like, when you hear the common tropes out there, they go right from boomer to millennial, right? Or Gen Z. Like, they don't even mention Gen X, right? Like, we're just not even.
I'm a millennial. Okay.
Huh?
I'm a millennial.
Right. But they always talk about boomers. They don't talk about Gen X, right? They always talk about boomers and millennials. And the tug of war between the two, and Gen X just gets largely ignored. And what they were talking about, how that's going to continue to be a trend, that we've never had a voting base as Gen X because the baby boomers are just so large in comparison to us.
Scared of you.
Well, it has to do with voting power, right? And that's why the seniors get so much attention now, and why. I mean, here's something.
It's so funny to think like what seniors are now, because when I was growing up, like I used to think of like my grandpa. That's what a senior is. Like, that's what an old man is, right? And what a senior is now is somebody that's got like tattoos and still listen to like rock and roll music and shit. Like, when I get old and I'm a senior, oh my god, it's a weird.
I'm going to share something that a lot of people don't realize, and this is absolutely due to voting power.
There we go.
Oh shit. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can't. How do I make it skinny? Oh, god damn it. All right, hang on a second. Got stuff interfering. There.
I mean, if I zoom in, I can read it.
I don't. Do I need to zoom
Just
more?
gotta go full screen.
Can you read that?
Oh, yeah, that's way better.
So this is the U.S., like literally this is the budget. What do you see at the very tippy top of the budget?
Social Security. Taking care of old people.
Okay.
Taking care of
see bitches. As the second largest part?
Medicare, which is also taking care of bitches. No. Wait. Yeah, care is for poor people. Aid is for old people, right?
They're both old people.
No, isn't Social Security and Medicaid for old people and Medicare is for
Medicare is for old people. Medicaid is for poor people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you know what this is? You know what another name for this is? They've named it that just so people don't bitch.
No.
Obamacare.
Oh, yeah. Government subsidies for wide-ranging healthcare. Yeah. Okay.
People bitch about military spending. Do you see what we actually spend
it's
on military?
Low. Like we pay more in interest. Like
you know what the interest is for?
It's just for debt. It's just
the national debt to borrow money to pay Social Security and fucking Medicare.
Yeah.
Right. So who do you think voted for the budgets to be this way? Like when you add just the two things for old people up top, it accounts for how much of the total national budget?
I mean, technically both parties did because
okay, I don't care about parties. I asked who. It's old people. This is the impact of baby boomers.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to switch when the baby boomers die off because the larger voting population by far will be millennials and Gen Z. And they've already said, and this is the scary thing, it'll switch from one bad thing to a different bad thing. Do you know what the big sentiment and like those two generations are pulling for most? And you bring it up, and you actually brought it up because of The Expanse. 2 terms.
Oh, UBI. Yeah. Universal Basic Income.
And UHC.
Oh, Universal Healthcare. Yeah.
Universal Healthcare and Universal Basic Income, which you can relabel both of those as
is like I see all these hippies up in my state too, and they're like, "Universal healthcare is a human right." The fuck out of here! Like that's dumb as shit. Like that's a wonderful dream.
It's not even a wonderful dream. It means, hey, you're going to get something without earning it. That's not a dream. That's a nightmare.
That's socialism. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All of that. And even this, Social Security and Medicare and Obamacare are all what?
I mean, they're socialist programs.
Right.
To take care of our
where are they getting that money from?
The younger people's.
Wrong.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Wrong. This is another thing that pisses me off. Because I have to keep showing this to people too, and then they keep bitching about it, and it's like there's nothing fair about this at all.
What you talking about?
I'll show you just because I don't want you to think that I'm slanting the results. Okay. And most people, when they say how they want to pay for these programs, who specifically do they want to pay for these programs?
Yeah. No. You're going to point out that the rich pay most taxes. Like they want to tax the rich more. Like, duh. This is the whole dumb like leftist ideal right now is they want to tax the rich more, even though the rich pay.
Okay. And I want to at least have this on screen. Can you please rip at least just a top sentence?
Yeah. Top 1% of U.S. earners paid 40% of all federal individual income taxes. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And when you break it down even further, do you know what percentage of the taxes the top 50%, so 1/2 of the population, pays how much of the taxes?
I'm not seeing that here.
No. Well, actually, you do right there.
Top 50% is 88. Yeah.
No. That's total income earned.
Oh, income earned, 97. So yeah, poor people don't pay much for taxes. They just want the benefits without like the investment.
But they want to tax these people even more.
Yeah,
because 97.5% of the money being paid by 50% of the people is not enough. That 40% being paid by 1% is not enough. They need to tax them more.
Yeah, this is like the current
fair, and why would you want to stay here as somebody with that much wealth?
Right? I mean, I guess because this is probably where most of their business occurs. That would be my guess on it. I'm going to pop this down. Is that like Tesla, right? Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world. On paper, we both fucking know that there's some sheik in the Middle East that's like a trillionaire, legitimately, because in the UAE and most of like the Middle East, you don't have to claim your value. You don't have to say how much money you have. So there is legitimately
have that money.
What's that?
Elon Musk does not have that much money.
No, net worth. Yeah.
Right, and that's a whole different thing because
it's all shenanigans. It's loans against like not actual holdings.
Actually, right. It's just debt, right? It's debt that he's allowed to have.
Yeah.
Anyways, that if he went to go sell it, would not
the point I'm trying to make though is I think the reason that he stays in the country is because this is why he does most of his business in this country.
Honestly, I think when you're at his level, dude, you know he lives in trailers most of the time. He goes around living in trailers, bouncing from trailer to trailer at work sites.
Yeah.
He's just dedicated to what he does. And so long as he has the money and the leverage, he doesn't even have to have the money, but the ability to build the rockets that he wants, the cars that he wants, start a business venture. He operates on a different wavelength.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it doesn't even matter. The top 1% of people pay 40% of the tax, more than 40% of the taxes. That is super disproportional. And I'm not one of those people, but that's just not fair. I'm not even in the top 5%. Right?
No, I'm assuming we're going based off all American numbers.
Yeah. This is American numbers.
Yeah.
Because it's federal income tax. It's not talking about foreign taxes. At any rate, poor people are just out of their fucking minds. And the problem is you have 180 million people unemployed in the United States and 160 million people, including part-time workers, employed. So out of 340 million people, less than half of them even work. And that's the people that you're seeing here that pay federal income taxes.
Yep.
Because people that don't work don't pay any taxes.
Not income taxes, sales. But
well, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
The percentage of income tax, right? So you have to be employed. And guess what? Income tax is what pays the money for people who are unemployed. So when you really think about it, if you added in the other half of the people that don't even work, that percentage would get skewed even more.
Yeah.
Like drastically more. These are feel-good numbers because that's at least people that are employed. This is of the people that pay federal taxes.
Right.
So the half of the people in the United States that don't, more than half, that don't even pay any federal income tax? Well, guess what? These numbers would greatly increase. You'd find out that the proportion of that top one would be closer to like, they'd be paying closer to around 60 to 80% of the taxes. But you want to tax them more.
People are dumb.
You can't just, like, they don't even make enough money to pay that much more. You don't get it. Like, we're in bigger debt than we have taxes to pay, even if you tax them at a rate of 100%, and they earned nothing. And I think that's what poor people want, is for rich people to work harder, create these businesses, like just run circles around the average person and earn nothing or the same as what poor people earn. And that's just absurd.
They're aiming for a different future than I am.
What's that?
they're aiming for a different type of future than I am.
Well, and
very hand-holdy, holistic, everybody's cared for nanny state.
Well, and that's what that whole idea of universal basic income and universal healthcare is.
Yeah.
It fundamentally absolves people of the obligation to be responsible for covering yourself like people have been until the 1930s.
We just need giant government housing, like a big prison. And then anybody that wants to live in it gets it for free and we'll take care of you. And then you just got to bust rocks, or you get one of those treadmill bikes and you got to generate power all day. Like, we're just going to turn it into the human machine.
They won't. They'll do nothing, and they'll break the. Yeah. This is not a rich people thing. I'm not a rich person. Pat's not a rich person, but we can tell you that what you're asking for is a dystopian society by asking to be socialized. You know what happens to every socialist? So there's a pattern, right? Of governments, and all social, in very, very small numbers, communism is the only thing that works, like on a raft on a desert island.
Right. Yeah.
As soon as you start expanding the scope of that out,
that's the issue
communism
right there.
does not work. Socialism does not work. You can't have people not chipping in. Like, think about it when you have 10 people on an island. You couldn't have 5 of them existing off of the other 5.
Right.
Like, all of you would die. So you all 10 have to chip in. Maybe you have one person that's invalid and 97 years old, and you might take care of that 197-year-old.
Or it's the dude with the broke leg because you had a ship crash.
Sure. Yeah. But you can't have more than half of the people with broke legs. You can't have 4 or 6 people on a desert island collecting all the resources, gathering all the food, providing all the shelter. That's not, it's unsustainable, right?
No.
And that's what happens with socialism and communism at larger scale. And what ends up happening in those environments is just like what you have. That's China. You really think that's a socialist country? You don't think they have a hierarchy? No, get out of here. You think that any country that calls itself socialist?
I mean, it's oligarchy.
Okay, but they call themselves socialist and communist. They're clearly not.
No, not in the true sense of the word. Like, it's a small amount of people that have an incredible amount of power, including that over the military. Yeah, it's oligarchy. But like
what you end up is it's really autocracy, right? You have basically one person that is the power in the country, like Putin and Xi Jinping and Kim Dam Suk fuck in Korea, and quite frankly, even in other countries like in the Arabic countries, and those are more monarchies, but it's fundamentally the same. When you start depending on socialism, you're surrendering your ability to do for yourself. You're surrendering your independence for dependency on a government that doesn't give a fuck about you.
Well, that's one of the weird things. Like, I've got 2-3 friends that still live in China, and we talk every once in a while. Its setup is similar to like Vietnam and the Philippines and most of Southeast Asia. Is even though that it says like socialist or communist in the title of their country, it's not. It's just a pretty self-governing government body. The people don't get a choice in what goes on. The government just does whatever it does, and the people
that's called autocracy. We're going to dictate to you. Basically, socialism always devolves in the simplest terms. I'll put it this way. I'll sum it up. So socialism devolves in every case we've ever seen into dictatorship. Like, I don't care what you call them. You can call them an autocrat, a dictator. I don't care. It's the same thing. It's one person dictating their will on everyone else.
I guess that's the only like little rub there. That in like a truly dictatorship, like Putin might actually be able to say, go do this, and the country does that. I'm pretty sure Xi Jinping doesn't actually have the power to do that. I'm pretty confident it's like 18 dudes that run a committee, and he's just the head of it, which makes it autocratic. It's literally just like different flavors of the same fucking Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
I am on your side on this.
Yeah. When I say dictatorship, I don't mean by a single person, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's a single governing body that tells you how things are going to be, and you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
The country's not represented in any fashion.
What really I get a kick out of it is it says communist or it says socialist, but there are no actual programs to help the fucking people. Like we're not. Our country has more actual socialist programs in it to help people.
Yes.
Unemployment, universal health care.
But you know why? What luxury afforded them that ability? A capitalist society that grew immensely wealthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then suddenly, oh, hey, we have the voting power to strip them of their money and give it to the people who didn't do shit. Well, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, eventually that leads in one direction.
Yeah.
Eventually there'd be no money left. Period. Yeah. End of story. That's how. And you know what that ends up in when it is supposedly a democracy.
Hyperinflation shit. Yeah.
Well, no, they're two opposite ends of the spectrum that are startlingly similar. Like Nazi Germany was a democracy, so to speak, that ended up in what? Same thing in Italy. Same thing in Spain. Yeah. Where did they end up?
Fascist dictatorship.
Fascism, which like you'd have to tell me what the difference in a dictator between fascism and a dictator between an autocratic socialist communist. Like, to me, they're the same damn thing. You end up at the extreme end of the pole where they're strikingly similar by the time they end up at their two opposite ends.
End result isn't a whole lot different. It's just that like Hitler was able to say, this is what we do, and that's what they did. Whereas like Vietnam, whoever the fucking president of Vietnam is, that's not the guy that's in charge. There's a council of people who decide what it is. And they're all just like a whole bunch of corrupt politicians, which honestly, I think is what America probably has been for like, I don't know, 40 fucking years. Where like all of my life, I never felt as though what was the first president I really thought existed? Bill Clinton. Like when I was growing up, that's when I was like cogent enough to realize like this is a US president. This is the guy that's in charge. At that point, I didn't really think Bill Clinton was like the guy in charge because he's not. Like there's a whole council of like the Senate and the Republic that actually is the lawmakers and deciders.
While we're not perfect, it at least
up until recently
has more checks and balances with different branches, with the Supreme Court, with how like you have 600 different people you got to convince to go in a direction in Congress, and it's a little kind of autocratic when it gets to the president because it literally is he is the there's a judicial, the legislative, and the
executive.
He is the executive branch. There's nobody else that gets a say in it.
And now with this whole power of the president, where he's signing executive orders and shit, where it's just circumventing a lot of the previous checks and balances we've had.
Congress can shoot those down, and they should.
Which is what they have
falling down on their duty currently. But neither here nor there. It's a damn sight better than Russia, and it's
that's what I mean. Like as much as like, okay, a lot of people, Bob, you know me pretty well, Matt. Like I'm a pretty negative person, and there's nobody I hate more than myself. And it's just because I am so intimately familiar with myself. It's not depression or anything like that. I poop. I don't know if you do, Bob. I take really good food, I chew it up, and I end up turning it into poop. That's how disgusting a human being I am. Right. And I kind of judge everybody else that way. So when I think of like, there's some dude with ungovernable power, just presence above everybody else, he's also a horrible creature. So like, I try not to think of anybody should have too much power. And it's unfortunate that like, we are just slowly going over to the autocratic society. It's just becoming more.
And you know why? I'll tell you exactly why it is. Because I absolutely, like here's a
I need is a bunch of
get booted off of YouTube. I don't think everybody should have the right to vote.
I agree with you.
If you're not contributing to society,
I think that's pretty.
You shouldn't have a say in anything.
I mean, generally, like felons, they're not allowed to vote. Like non-U.S. citizens are not allowed to vote.
No, felons can vote.
No.
Yes, they can.
Locally and stuff, but they can't vote in presidential races.
I think you might want to check that. I think that's based, kind of like where you're at. I was surprised. I looked into that too, and I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. They can't vote while they're incarcerated.
AI overview is no. A felon's right to vote significantly varies by state. Many states impose restrictions.
Right.
Blah blah blah. In few places, fucking of course, it's one of the 3 places: Maine, Vermont, and DC. There are no restrictions even while incarcerated.
Right, but
but otherwise, like generally,
most of them you just can't vote while you're in prison.
Most of this is talking about outside of prison when you're not incarcerated as well. It's just the 3 states of Maine, Vermont, and District of Columbia being a state.
I'm pretty sure I looked into this. And I was like, yeah, of course we want to have the fucking felons voting.
I mean, in some instances, it makes enough sense. Like,
but if they truly reform and turn around and become legit productive members of society,
a felony is kind of like, bullshit. But I mean, in general, like the prison system and how crime works is you are being punished for the worst thing you ever got caught for. Like if I got punished for the worst thing
I honestly think we need massive prison reforms. We have the most incarcerated population in the world.
It's a whole pay-for-prison system. Like when we privatized it, it definitely changed how we look at putting people in prison. We don't look at trying to make people better. We look at just trying to have more people in prison.
Well, 2 bullets to the back of the head do wonders.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of like ranking up how much we kill people. I think Florida just like turned some chairs back on or something.
Well, but there's a lot of things, like as harsh as that sounds, I also think it's bullshit why most people are in jail in the first place. Like weed, get the fuck out of here. So many people are still in jail for weed. And prostitution, explain to me why that's illegal.
Oh, prostitution. I thought you said prosecution.
No, prostitution. Like,
no, I totally think like it makes no sense. Like, wait, hold on. There's like in our business, right? We call it a workaround. Like where, oh, hey, this part of the system doesn't work as designed, but if you click this button and then do this other thing, it works. Hey, baby, I want to pay you to have sex with me, but it's illegal to say that. How about we make a movie and I pay you to have sex with me and it's allowed now? So literally,
and think about this. Like it's illegal to have somebody massage your penis, but it's okay for them to massage your neck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Like so to me, and there's a whole lot more that's that kind of stupidness out there.
Yeah,
I think a lot less people should be in jail, but I think jail should be a lot scarier than it is. And I think if you're truly a rotten human being, like that piece of shit that stabbed that girl in the neck on the train, who has been caught and released 14 times.
Right. Yeah.
A long time ago, 2 bullets in the back of the head should have been the thing. Do you think that person, no matter what kind of chemicals they get on or what kind of counseling they get, is ever going to be a productive member of society?
No, fuck that noise.
No. And why should we have to suffer and be in danger when we've identified this is a piece of shit that is a danger to society and will likely never just fucking be done with it? Like, that might sound harsh, but even if it was my own child who had turned out to do those kind of things, I'm sorry. Like we do it to dogs, put them down. They bite, put them down.
Right. Yeah.
Well, why subject society to a known danger? That is, you've surrendered your constitutional rights in my book. You should never have the right to vote ever again. If you're legit a criminal who's a piece of shit who doesn't care, and there's a lot of pieces of shit. Like, watch these videos of these black folks out there that, and I'm not trying to be racist, but they all seem to be black, that they're talking about right now. SNAP is a thing that's like going to disappear because of the government shutdown. And they say, okay, we're black people. We know how to steal. You try to stop me, I'll beat the fuck out of you. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to steal all the groceries I want. And you try to stop me, I will assault the shit out of you. They're saying this. Like, I'm going to steal your shit. You're going to pay more for it as a productive member of society. And I'm going to do a crime in the process of it. And if you try to stop me from it, I'm going to commit more crimes. And by me even threatening to say this is a crime in and of itself. And I'm videotaping it.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? There should be armed guards at every fucking grocery store when SNAP expires. You try to charge out of this store. Go ahead. You get all froggy. Let's see how blustery you are about stealing groceries from people who are going to have to pay a lot more because you want to be a piece of shit in society. If you didn't want to starve, maybe you need to start making some of the right decisions and doing jobs you may not like for money you don't want.
Right.
And you want to be paid a whole lot more, but the government's not giving you freebies. Well, guess what? At some point, you have to pay the piper.
Got to do the work.
Sorry. And I know that's pretty fiery language from me, and it might be a little harsh take on things, but I hold my children accountable. I hold myself accountable. And I don't like being around friends who are not accountable. I don't tend to friend those kind of people because I don't have respect for it. And I would not hold my tongue to tell you that I think you're despicable. I have relatives that are despicable that do that kind of shit and live off the government and sponge off of people. And I don't talk to them. I don't want to be around them. I don't take their calls, and I don't visit them. And I don't respect them. And if they die on the streets and they give me a call, or they're out on the street and they're saying, I'm dying, I need a place to stay and food, even though they're relatives, sorry about your tough luck. You might want to look for a help wanted sign somewhere.
Right. There's a shelter down the way.
Buy a tent.
Right.
And a sleeping bag.
Head south.
Start from there.
Yeah, right? Head south.
But, if we don't start adopting those kind of harsher measures, there will be nothing left for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was having a conversation with my buddy yesterday about generational wealth, and how my grandparents, my father's mother and my father's father, when they passed, there was nothing to distribute. There was nothing of any worth, right? There was a quarter of an acre in a wet ass part of Florida with a rundown mobile house, right? When my mother's mother passed, she was a wife to a man, so she didn't have anything. That was like their generation. It was his stuff. When he passed, when he passed, there was a small property that got distributed among my aunt and uncles. But as far as like that goes, wow, that's starting from nothing as far as like my mother and father's generation. When my mother dies, probably going to get saddled with debt. Like I'm looking at taking out life insurance on my mom so I don't have to fucking pay for her funeral, right? That's the grown-up shit I'm thinking about. Whereas these people are, hey, if you don't give me free fucking food, I'm just going to steal it. My pop dies. Hey, I might get a house out of the deal. When I die, I want to be able to leave at least $500,000 to one of my nieces or nephews. Like I want to be able to like build that up in my family instead of just this, oh, we didn't get nothing. We grew up poor and we're going to be fucking poor. No, I wanted to be able to see through our family's generations of like, my grandfather was interned by the Nazis. He was in 2 different work camps. Like we went from that to be able to pass down 6+ figures when we pass on. Like I want that to be part of our family's history. And a lot of folk nowadays just don't think about that. They think about the negative side of their life and just stay with the negative of it, not how to make these changes that they want to see.
No, they don't look for solutions, right?
Yeah.
They don't become the architect of their own success.
Don't bring me problems, bring me solutions.
Yeah, amen, brother.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was kind of a dark topic, and it kind of went off of The Expanse, but it kind of talks about that. And what you saw is the result of that in a, science fiction fashion. But what's scary is that the Gen Zers and millennials see that as an optional way to govern our society. And I'm very negative on that approach. I also don't think there should be any Social Security or Medicare at all. And I think that those taxes, you get a break for that. And you know what?
Can I get a refund on that shit?
You don't pay into it anymore. Even if we don't pay into it anymore, I'd rather they just stop it and stop taxing paychecks for it.
Right.
And, that gives the youth the option to actually take, they have domain over their own future. And will that put them potentially in a spot that the vast majority, because they buy Magic cards, are going to be left with nothing and dying on the streets?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I would say that's a solid 95%.
It'll return to the way that it was. That until the 1930s, there's no such thing really as retirement. You worked until you died.
Yeah, right.
Period. And if you died, if you at 47 or 57 when you could no longer work, yeah, them's the breaks, kid.
Yeah.
And you knew at least there is nobody coming to save you. It's your children, your neighbors, or nothing. There was no government to steal it from the wealthy people to try to give it to you. Right? Because here's the one thing that happens with every dollar you steal from a wealthy person and you give to a poor person. The poor person does nothing with it but spend it. It doesn't return anything.
Yeah, there's no reinvestment.
The wealthy people at least create jobs in a market for other people that are willing to work, that are willing to put in, that are willing to go that mile and take accountability for themselves. And it creates a framework for people to exist and make money. And I do think there does need to be government oversight so that you don't have, like these people paying 25 cents an hour. That's a bit opportunistic. But there's a vast difference between that and universal basic income. You let the market set the prices for wages. And then you don't have companies investing in AI and replacing jobs. They'll go to what is a payable wage.
Well, I mean, that's why we have the 40-hour work week, right? Because Ford thought it would be a good idea. If I recall, it was specifically Henry Ford after the production line to not, because there was such an efficiency boost in the production line, the assembly line that they were using. They didn't want to pay more to their employees, but they were able to make the decision that they could work them less because of the efficiency boost, and that alone was so enticing to people that's how Ford became number one, why we have the 40-hour work week, and how they became such a manufacturing powerhouse was the double implementation up on the factory line.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I'm not a macro economist.
Bernie wants to go down to 32. Heard that old prick talking about it last week.
Well, we are the workingest society on the planet. We have the least amount of days off. We work the most hours of the work week.
Yep. It's almost like we're the number one country in the whole fucking world or something. Weird how that's
funny how that quote. But we have unions that extort higher wages that are beyond fair market value.
Don't take away my union, Bob. I get paid far more than I probably
I am
should.
So anti-union, it's not even funny. I honestly think the union is the reason that this country went into the shitter and every manufacturing job went overseas.
Yeah, I can understand that standpoint. Yeah.
Sorry, that's just the truth.
I feel you there. I think there is something to be said about a conglomeration of company workers, linemen.
No, that's why we have laws. At some point there was a necessity to have conglomeration of workers, and there was a necessity for unions once upon a time. But the government has so interceded in all of that and put its fingers into every pie. You can't have them both interceding to set the laws and then supporting people to not work. Like, they have a vested interest that's based purely on voting, and it's bad. It's bullying mob tactics, and it doesn't allow a free market to actually exist. And that's the same problem with unions. They don't allow a free market to actually exist. We
definitely don't live in a free market here in America, and the part of that is minimum wage.
No, I disagree.
That we do live in a free market?
I disagree that we live in a free market, and I disagree that minimum wage should even exist.
No, so we are on the same page. Is that we both do not think that we live in a free market in America, and minimum wage is a great example of how it is not a free market.
Well, it shouldn't even exist. It's part of what creates a non-free market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's not the only factor, right?
No, of course not. Corn subsidies and all that shit. It's been
government intervention is why we don't have a free market.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
but then
the fact
it's also like gotten us to this point, like to safeguard like the American Farm Belt. If corn did ever go below, I don't know the real number. Let's say $5, right? Easy enough math. If they paid subsidies up to $5 a bushel or whatever, and it was a $2 bushel year, probably 60% of farmers plus would have gone out, and we just couldn't have that. So it makes enough sense, but it is also just a socialist program. And
I don't agree. I think that good businesses won't be in a position that a bad year takes them out. I think that you need to get rid of all this oversight and intervention, and successful businesses will survive. That the too big to fail, the bailouts in 2008, are the most hideous thing in our country's history. The double printing of our entire money supply during the Obama administration was one of the most tragic things that's happened to this country in its entire history. They literally doubled the supply of money in his administration, and that is going to have impacts for 100
years. Yeah,
no more than that, because then guess what? Then hey, when Trump got in there, let's print more money. Then Biden gets in, let's print more money, and it becomes their solution. And that is exactly what happens with hyperinflation, to where the money becomes literally worthless. And what it essentially is doing, think about it. So if 90% of the people have $0 and 10% of the people have, we'll just say $1 million, you say, well, we need to give 90% of the people some money, and we don't have any money. We've already taxed the 10% to oblivion, so we won't tax you. But what we'll do is we'll just double up, and now there's $2 million. And we'll take that extra. You'll still have your $1 million, and we're not taking anything from you. But now we're going to take this other $1 million and distribute it amongst the other 90%. And it didn't even happen that way, but I'm just, being very parabolic for illustrative purposes. But now that money that you had that was $1 million buys half as much, because there's twice as many dollars to buy stuff.
Yup.
And we keep doing that.
The South African 100,000 note.
No, they have $1 trillion notes.
Yeah.
And Venezuela went the same way, like post World War II Germany, Deutschmark. Like hyperinflation happens all the time when you do that. You print money. That's what happens. Hyperinflation hits, and pop goes the weasel, down goes the dollar, to where you lose all faith in it, because it is a fiat-based money system, meaning faith. Fiat means faith, and it means that it's fugazi. It's just because people believe it's worth that much. You keep printing it, people suddenly lose faith in that currency and go, nope, we're not accepting it anymore. And it has to do with oil standards and, world reserve currency and all that kind of shit. But that can change instantly. Like literally in a period of a couple of months, the United States could be completely bankrupt, and $1 billion would be worth nothing.
Yeah.
Literally couldn't even buy a loaf of bread with it.
Yeah.
And, that is the real direction that our economy is heading. That is a inevitability on the path that we're on. That is not like something maybe will happen. It is a definitely going to happen, unless we do something drastic to change that. And a huge part of that is what I showed you with those graphs. You can't just keep giving away free money. It doesn't work. The only option you have, and why we have interest at all that outstrips our federal defense budget, is to pay the service on a debt, to borrow money, to pay money to people that have zero return. Trust me, when the money that's going into Social Security, the ROI on that is zero. Same thing with Medicare, zero. Same thing with Obamacare, zero. There is no return on that. So half of our budget has 0% return, and then we have 14% on top of that we're paying an interest to that. So out of the entire budget, right, when you add all of it up, the only possibility is that about 25 to 30% is actually generating income, meaning that it generates anything back at all.
Yeah.
That is a terrible, terrible formula for economic success. There's just not enough money. And people keep saying, oh, they'll just print more. Okay. careful what that means, because they could print it into Deutschmarks and South African dollars, or these hyperinflated currencies that are literally, you could be a quadrillionaire and it means nothing. You're still going to starve to death because nobody will take your money.
Yeah.
That's where that leads. And it's not like there's a 10% chance of that happening. There's a 100% chance of that happening on the path that we're on. Like any economist will tell you that. And that's why they keep talking about trying to get back on a gold standard or something else. And when that happens, let me explain what happens when that happens. When they talk about going back on a standard, all your money will exchange for like 10% of its value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to do
standard. It. And what that means for you that don't have anything, you're like, well, I don't have anything, so cool. I won't exchange it for 10% of what it's worth. That means that your paycheck will remain the same, but the buying power of it will be reduced by 90%.
Mm.
And if you didn't feel poor before, you will.
You will now.
Right. That's
on that happy note, I think it's about late dinner time for me.
Finances for our members.
Right.
You heard it here, folks. And so, take that into consideration. Tonight has been a heavy economy sort of thing with the WOTC quarterly earnings, some of the specifics of that. The idea that, after this next set, which is coming out in 4 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah.
That Lorwyn expect, I don't know what the price increase was. I don't think it was drastic, but it's that, frog in a pot of boiling water.
Yeah.
Up it goes. And I'm going to make another prediction. We saw Secret Lairs. Remember I made a prediction at the beginning of this year?
Oh, yeah.
Said, Secret Lairs are going to go up.
Yeah.
I would say that on average, because they're doing all these shifty, different, complicated number schemes for the Secret Lairs, they have gone up.
Yeah.
In aggregate. Yeah. And I think they're going to do more of that next year. I think they will go up across the board even more next year.
Oh, yeah. We'll see 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70.
What was the Turtle Commander deck cost?
I did not see. I just saw
$70, I think Matt said. He's like, why is the Commander deck $70? For a standard
why not?
Set?
Yeah.
Because they can, folks. Because they can. And like I said on that, and what Pat said on that note, speaking about him eating and pooping, I gotta poop. But
have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Enjoy, everybody. If I don't see you before.